Well, good morning, wonderful students, and welcome to week 2 of your summer course. So this week is a little bit of a light week, but it's going to really set you up for everything that you need to do for your upcoming summary and response essay. Now that you've learned a little bit about our course and you've read our reading number 1 and annotated it and you know exactly what's going on, what we're going to do is now we're going to kind of put that to the test and we're going to start building our first essay, which will be due around the week 4 area, okay? So essentially what you're doing in this course is you're going to be taking all the things that you learned in the annotation assignment and all the things that you learned in paraphrase and understanding plagiarism, and you're going to really start to put it to work. So let's dive in and see what we're going to do. This week, what you have is you have quite a few pages that you need to make sure that you're clicking through. So the first thing that I really want you to start with is I want you to start with the summary and response essay writing overview. What this page does is it tells you exactly what you need to do for your summary and response essay. And you're probably thinking, well, Miss T, it's not due until like week 4. But what we do in this class is we actually do the writing process, which means that every single thing that you do, every graded assignment that you have, you are going to be using that in order to get feedback and then move forward to be able to really complete your essay with all the information that you need so that you can be as successful as possible. So I want you to read over summary and response writing. What you're going to notice is that every time we have any kind of essay, it's set up exactly this way. What is the essay? And then how do I create it? I want to share with you that you can actually click on you can open this up here, you can click on these thing links, and you can kind of see what each part looks like. I love this little area of each of our assignment pages because what it does is it gives you the visual of what your end product is going to look like, and it helps you set the goal for where you're going for the next couple of weeks, okay? And so when you go to turn in your essay in a few weeks, it's going to look exactly like this, all right? Essentially, you are going to have a title page in APA, introduction, a summary, which we're working on this week. Then you're going to have 2 different response paragraphs. Each of those response paragraphs needs to answer each paragraph, so 2 paragraphs, need to answer 1 or 2 of these questions. So essentially what that means is you're going to read these questions over, you're going to choose 2, write 1 paragraph on one, write 1 paragraph on the other, give ourselves a good conclusion, and then finalize it with a references page. And so I want you to read that over to make sure that you know exactly where you're going and where you need to head with that. The other thing that you can do is you can actually go into our course content, go ahead into the sample assignments, and then click on the summary and response essay as well as the planner here because we're going to be using that this week. But go ahead and click on the summary and response essay so that, again, you can set your goal and see where we're headed with all of these little mini assignments, okay? Now, the next thing that you'll be doing is then, of course, you'll be learning about summary writing. So how can you write a summary without learning about what a summary is? So when we look at this page, there's a lot of information in here to help you. And then you have your step-by-step guide with a couple of different videos in here in order to really help you learn how to write a solid summary. Now, you are not writing your full summary this week. You are only completing a planner for your summary, which we'll see in a second. But essentially, you need to learn the basics because summary writing is a lot different than any other kind of writing that you're going to be doing in any kind of course. You have a strong verbs list, and then we move forward. Okay. So learning about our summary and response essay and then learning about summary writing then takes us to our first assignment due Wednesday, which is your progress check part 1, okay? Now, those 2 pages have them up, have them ready to go, take a look at the sample, see what you need to do. But essentially what you're going to see is when you open up your planner, you'll see numerous parts to your planner, okay? There's a whole video on it. There are 2, 3 videos actually on it right here. But essentially what I want you to do, watch the overview video to see what you need to do, and then you have a picture of exactly the section that you need to complete for Wednesday. You are only completing one section, and again, remember, you are not writing a full summary, you are simply planning your summary for the week. Okay. Now that that's done, let's take a look at the rest of the information that you need in order to build ourselves up to our final assignment, which is our thesis statement discussion board. So when we look at the next 1, 2, 3 pages, what you're going to learn is you're going to learn how to write a thesis statement for a summary and response essay, okay? And essentially what this module does is it tells you all about all of the different kinds of thesis statements we're going to be writing in this class. I want you to really concentrate on this one, the response one, because that's the one that you'll be using later on for your discussion board. The next thing that you're going to be learning is then how to write your essay. In this class, we are learning not just how to read critically and think critically, but we're learning how to academically write critically on a college level. In this class, it's very prescriptive. So what we're teaching you in the body paragraphs module is essentially how to write a C-set paragraph, okay? This is the format that you're going to be hearing in English 101 a million times and English 102 a million times, but it's a formula that's going to really stabilize you and give you a framework where you can apply to any kind of essay that you're going to need in your academic career and beyond. So make sure that you're really taking good notes here because we are very, very prescriptive in how we grade your paragraphs. So make sure that you're really taking a look and seeing how these paragraphs are built. The final page in our movement this week, in week 2, is looking at introductions and conclusions. Now, again, we're going to be writing this essay in parts, but what this does is it sets you up for the next part of the planner, which is part 2, and part 3, where we're going to actually outline our essay and then create a body paragraph. But that's not until next week. What I want you to do first, though, is I really want you to learn about how to create an introduction, what each part is going to look like, okay, for your one paragraph introduction, how to create a hook, okay, and then essentially how to create a conclusion. So all that information is out there at your fingertips so that you can learn each part, learn what you need to do for each part of this essay before we even dive into the essay, okay? Now, what is your assignment for Sunday? Let's take a look. We have thesis statements discussion board. So what you're going to do is essentially this. You're going to read over the summary and response essay guidelines again. Make sure that you take a look at the types of thesis statements and use the proper one. You're going to choose the 2 questions that you're going to answer for the summary and response essay. And then you're going to tell me what your thesis statement is, okay? So what I want you to do is make sure that you are really reading over, choosing your questions from the overview page. Make sure that you are following the model for the thesis statement, okay? And then you'll get feedback and then we can move forward, all right? So essentially, guys, that's it. We're jumping in and starting to slowly plan our first essay this week and learning all of the components in order to make and create really stellar academic college essays. And that's it. This is our foundation. This is where we're laying the cement for our house and starting then to build that foundation to really make it solid so that as we write our essays moving forward, you already know exactly what you're going to be doing. So this is our week, guys. This is where we really begin. As always, you have your guided notes there for you to help you chunk that material, but you also have the APA resources here, okay? So what I want you to make sure that you're doing is by the end of this week, make sure that you have gone through, and I mean gone through, watched every minute of every video, maybe even taken it step by step and created your title page, ready to go. Taking a look at in-text citations and, of course, our APA references guide. It is my expectation that you've done all of these before you submit your first essay because you're going to need all that APA stuff for that first essay. So since it's a little easier and a little lighter in week week 2 where we're just planning one part of our essay and just doing our thesis statement, this is the week to really get that APA stuff in. Now, do I expect you to memorize it? The answer is no. I never expect for you to memorize APA. But I do expect you to know where the information is that you can go back and find the reference and find the information so that as you use APA, as you go through your courses all throughout your career, your academic career and beyond, that you're able to locate the information and know exactly what's there for you. So these are not just one and done pages. These are pages that you'll use throughout all of our semesters here at Delaware Tech, okay? That's it, everybody. So that's your week in advance, your week preview. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. So, I'm recording this before Memorial Day, so hopefully this is going to be a lot more tan than this pasty that you're seeing here, right? So next week we do have Monday off, which is going to be great. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Memorial Day weekend, that you spend it with your friends and families, or if you're working, making all that cash. And please reach out to me should you need any help, okay? All right, guys, good luck. Have a great second week, and I'll talk to you week 3.